Hello guys, today we'll talk about the box office, and the box office has been slowing down definitely, but there has been a very surprising and successful movie. Unfortunately, Deadpool and Wolverine still was number one, which means Disney gets a okay, I'll stop being so doom and gloom because Disney has successful movies, you know, but Deadpool and Wolverine still remains number one. Will remain number one next week because of Alien Romulus, that's really the movie's title, but we'll wait and see, obviously. But Deadpool Wolverine also passed the coveted $1 billion mark as well, which is to be expected as well. So the movie is doing average for a big movie. So we'll pass 600 million. We'll wait and see. But it did pass $1 billion, which means it's the second $1 billion movie of the year as well. So and it's a change of pace from last year. The three highest grossing movies of the year, or not even any Disney movies made the top three. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is number four, so we got number four. But we're back to now the normal. Disney gets the highest grossing movies of the year. And of course, I'm not a big fan of one company really holding the top five highest grossing movies of all time of the year. I'm not really a big fan of it. It's kind of a monopoly, you know. But again, the government won't break Disney up. For example, Disney gets a sick of the Disney animation. Pixar can be a separate. No, maybe Disney and Pixar can be merged into one. Lucasfilm can be separate, and Marvel can be separate from Disney. But the problem is, they'll probably still want to work with Disney because that's the company that bring. Okay, yeah, but yeah, Disney is like again. Then we have to do all the other companies too. They have to all be broken up from the be independent companies as well. So it ends with Us is the second highest grossing movie, and actually it has broken even, making $80 million. So this movie, surprisingly, despite not being a power franchise, which is again, you know, is huge. Okay, because usually these types of movies they're only like $10 million or so. That has basically been the trend this year. There has been like one or two exceptions of a non-franchise movie opening well. If did open well, but it didn't do too well internationally, which is why that movie is a failure. Fall Guy opened pretty decent, but this is the number that Fall Guy is sort of open to. Okay, and if there is no excuse for those movies now to open to subpar openings. Okay, you know, and heck, you can even put in Civil War and Silencers as well. Okay, it's because it's just there's some weird reason people don't want to watch non-franchise movies. Okay, and that's how has been Hollywood's biggest problem. Okay, yes, they get the big, massive box office grosses from these massive movies like Deadpool and Wolverine or Twisters or something, but they're not making money off of these, unknown movies, these non-franchise movies at all. Okay, they're not making money at all, but this movie has made $80 million. This means this movie has broken even. This movie only cost $25 million to produce, and people want mid-budget movies back, but now we have a mid-budget movie that actually made money because people actually want to go see it. Hollywood needs to learn the lesson from this movie, and of course, some of the non-franchise movies released last year, and how to make money on movies that are not linked to a pre-existing audience or franchise. Basically not a sequel. Okay, as well. And people will tell you, but this is based off a book that's really popular. But again, the Borderlands games are very popular, and no one went to go see that movie. So take that as you will. Okay, or Harold and the Purple Crayon is a popular kids book. Okay, Hollywood needs to learn this lesson. That how to get new franchises and non-franchises off the ground. Okay, and no, we're not counting Mario because Mario, we all knew Mario movie would make a lot of money because Mario is one of the most recognizable characters in the world. Okay, Bobby, you can say the same thing about Bobby. Okay, Bobby is one of the most recognizable toys of all time. Okay, but this is a sense of satisfaction of some unknown movie that no one thought would make any money. Actually making a huge amount of money, okay? Especially in this day and age where non-franchise movies continue to flop and do worse than they ever have been before. For example, Flying Me to the Moon, The Bike Riders, Horizon American Saga are three examples of movies in the past couple of months that did super poorly simply because they weren't a part of a franchise. So yeah, that's about It Ends With Us. That movie made $80 billion at the box office. So very big success for a non-power franchise movie. So next is Twisters. Again, the movie is doing extremely well domestically, but internationally, well, the movie still continues to do very, very poorly internationally. Okay, this movie's gonna lose over $100 million because international audiences just don't care. Again, just like of if did very well domestically, okay, very well domestically if made money. But it seems that international audiences don't seem to care all too much about this movie, which is why this movie is still considered, despite its massive domestic sales, a failure. Because this movie needed to make like $500 million to break even. Maybe because of its high domestic sale, maybe $450 million. But even then, they spent so much money on this movie. Of course, this movie could do very well on streaming, obviously, and digital HD because this movie. But again, Twisters is only popular in the U.S. International markets don't really care for this movie, and it was doing the best. It's doing the best in the UK and Mexico. Well, made 10 million, but it did well in Australia. But all the other markets, it seems they do not care about this movie. Okay, this movie is not doing very well now. Next is Borderlands, which no one is watching this movie. Again, Lionsgate gets what they deserve. We made several rants about this movie, so yeah. Lionsgate gets what they deserve, okay? It's funny, Lionsgate is always the company that always puts out these really bad movies, okay? It seems that John Wick was like some fluke that Lionsgate had this one successful movie series, but most of the movies are complete garbage, okay? There was no sugarcoating this, okay? Most of the movies are complete garbage. Lionsgate, is basically like the EA of movies. If Lionsgate adapts something, it's gonna be terrible. Next is Despicable Me 4, which made $800 million globally. I still don't think this movie's gonna make $1 billion. Someone said online, "Oh, it's gonna make somewhere between $1 and $1.1 billion." No, it's not gonna make that much money. Okay, it is having very good international legs, but this movie isn't performing well enough internationally for it to make $1 billion. It isn't performing well enough internationally for it to make $1 billion. I'm sorry I have to say this, but it's just the truth. It isn't performing well enough internationally to make. It isn't making that much money internationally. Okay, and also, I can't click on it, but I think the most amount of money it's making is in China, which again, movies are usually only in the box office for a month in China at most. So once it loses China, it's gonna be making way less money. Okay, China is the number one market for this movie, followed by the UK, followed by Mexico and France, Australia, the usual markets, Brazil, Spain, France, Russia for once. And yes, this movie is not going to make $1 billion. It is still a very successful movie, despite what the critics gave it, despite the really ridicule Despicable Me 4 got by the critics, despite the bad scores the stupid YouTube critics gave it. It's funny, all these YouTube critics are basically like Rotten Tomatoes at this point. They're not really the most trustworthy people anymore. It's just like once you go past a certain amount of subscribers, you're expected to like a certain movie or expected to. You can't have any, you can't deviate from the critic circle, basically. Okay, next is Trap. Okay, this movie is doing pretty alright, but again, it's not a power franchise. That's the main reason why no one's watching it. Okay, M. Night Shyamalan, his movies have been successful in the past, but it seems that a lot of his movies continue to do worse and worse. People will say it's because his movies are not good or blah blah blah, but I think there's another symptom behind it. It's because people really don't care about non-franchise movies anymore. These movies continue to do worse and worse, and Hollywood doesn't know how to fix this. Hollywood doesn't know how to fix the non-franchise problem. They really do not. Okay. This movie is his worst performing movie probably ever, along with The Watchers. Okay, I know The Watchers is made by his daughter, but either way, both movies, not part of the franchise, are not performing too well at the box office. So, yeah. Yeah, so next is Inside Out 2. Again, this movie will probably pass the Lion King remake, which, again, that movie would be fine knocked out of the top 10 because that movie's garbage. It's, again, Lion King remake is testament how dumb people are, okay? People will watch that, but won't watch anything else. Okay, you know. Oh, that's not a proper franchise. We're not gonna. Oh, why can't we make? Oh, let's get that $1 billion. Okay, let's give it. Okay, actually, Rita did pretty well for a non-franchise movie. Okay, but um, you know, actually, it is based off some obscure manga that like 10 people read outside of Japan. So but Inside Out 2 is gonna knock that movie out of the top 10. Okay, finally, a garbage movie. The knocked out of the top 10. The Lion King remake. Maybe one day we'll have Avatar knocked out of the top 10 because that's another garbage movie in the top 10. But that movie's at number one, so it's gonna take probably decades for that movie to be knocked out of number one as well. Goodbye. Oh, not goodbye, but yeah. Next is Holding the Purple Crayon. No one cares about this movie. Cuckoo. Um, this movie did okay. No one cares about this movie. Next is Wrong Legs, and Wrong Legs made $87 million, which means this movie has been a very successful movie. Goodbye.